rotate things once I've got them into my design. So when you draw an object in Inkscape, you've got, once you go back to the selection tool, these handles at the edge that allow you to increase and decrease the size of the object. And then to rotate it, all you need to do is click once more in the middle, and then the handles will change to rotation handles. Okay? So you can click away, click back on it to resize it, and then click once more in the middle, and it will give you these handles to rotate it. You've also got some more options for that under Object and Transform, where you can rotate things more accurately. So if you want to rotate things by 12 degrees or something like that, then you can type it in and it will rotate it more specifically. Okay. And the other one that popped up was, how do I, when I've placed an image within Inkscape, then cut it out? So how do I mask out an image so it can kind of sit over the top of my other images? So I've got a couple of images in here. So if we pull this, oh, it's not that fancy. So we'll import an image from the desktop. So when you're designing your documents, one thing to bear in mind, I think, is that Inkscape probably has a tendency to crash if you put too many layers of images in there. So if you go really crazy and add like 50, 100 images in your poster design, then you're probably going to end up crashing it at some point. So I would go gentle, see how your computer behaves, and always make sure that you're saving your work as you go along, and making a backup as well. So a backup means a copy on the hard drive on your computer and a copy on a USB stick or saved up to Google Drive or something like that. Okay, so make sure you save 2 copies of things. If you get to the day before the deadline and you lose all your work because your laptop dies, then it does happen. Then there'll be a little bit of sympathy for your laptop, but you still will have to make the deadline. So make sure you've got that backup so you can kind of catch up with the work that you've done if that does happen to you. So we're going to place an image in here. It's going to be massive. So we'll zoom out. And so just going to go, oops, back. So when we're resizing it here, we can see that it's resizing it without keeping the proportions, which we'll need to do. So if you hold down Control, it will resize it in proportion when you're resizing the image. So we can rotate it. And then keep scaling it down. Okay, so in order to kind of cut this out, we can use the pen tool. So down here we have the Bezier tool, which allows us to draw curves around our image. Now we're not going to draw a super accurate set of curves, but basically if you click around the edge of the image here, we can then use the shape that we've drawn to mask out the image behind. So I'm just clicking around this, and then eventually when I get back to the beginning, it will highlight red, so the little square in that first box will highlight red. I can click there and it's made my shape. So now I can go back to the selection tool, hold down Shift to select both those objects, and then go to Object, Clip, and Set, and it will create transparency. So that means that we can now take a shape like this, for instance, and put that over the top of it, so we can start to kind of do that more fun compositing of images. Okay, now these techniques are the same as you would do in Illustrator or InDesign, and similar to the way you do it in Photoshop. So you can kind of learn this technique in Inkscape, but you can apply it to other pieces of software as well. It won't work in exactly the same way, but the principle is the same. Okay.